What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Max. You are on RHMax TV. I gotta nail that one. I gotta start saying it. I gotta come up with the catchphrase, the intro catchphrase. You're watching RHMax TV, RHMax.tv. Which one sounds better? I don't know. But yeah, man. I've been trying to change a little bit of marketing, a little bit of branding, just here and there, just to make it easier to get to the channel, to go to GoRealDeFi.com. and to get to the resources that I think are most interesting and most helpful in the community. So that's you guys been watching the channel for a while, you know what I'm about. I'm here to, as I said the last couple of streams, I believe I have good information to share. And I listened to Sami this morning too, and something he said was pretty interesting. He's like, watching the mainstream influencers and stuff, that's not where you get an edge. That's not where you go to get an edge. That's where you go to see get an idea of when to sell, that type of thing. So that's what I hope to provide: value, maybe some sort of edge, anything but financial advice. You know the routine. But today, very excited to have Neil back on. He's a regular on the channel, and for a good reason. I believe he brings good information as well. And we got a lot of stuff to go through on things in which you can do in your own capacity to multiply your money on PulseChain. So that's what we're going to get into. That got some exciting Tetra updates. I have to calm myself down because I'm very excited about Tetra when it launches. But it's, when it launches is a loaded word. It's already, phase 1 is already launched, and it's a lot of stuff's going well with that, with Omnis, limit orders and stuff. But the staking portion, the strategy portion, all that, a lot of fun stuff I'm excited for in 2024. So without further ado, I'll get to chat in just a minute. Welcome back to the show, Neil for T-Shares. How's it going, sir?
Hey, Max. Thanks for having me. Doing well.
Are you part of that Tetra team thing?
Something like that, yeah. I'm part of the Tetra group, yeah.
I see a couple logos up there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's get into it there. Maybe we'll do some Tetra updates, and then there's another project that I've seen you've been talking about that I want to kind of dig into a little bit too. But yeah, where do you want to kick us off as far as Tetra?
All right, so I'll give everybody, I guess, an update where we are on Tetra development. So, Omnis, as you said, Omnis has been going well with the limit orders and stuff, and we're just about to release the next update for Omnis, which is the compound limit orders and the editing of limit orders, and maybe dark mode too, if you're lucky. And so that's kind of where we're at with that for Omnis, and also the DEX integration for the rest of the DEXs that'll be on chain. But the way we do things, we roll out upgrades as they are tested, and then we put them on the public for public consumption. So that's what we've been doing with Omnis and the Tetra development. And once Omnis is out, and Stu's posted this as an update, once Omnis is out, it's 100%. We're out of the beta phase. Then we're immediately going into the testing for Atlas and Stratus. So which is the automation tools that go straight to testing, because we need Omnis to be 100% fully functional to allow our testing to be, for automations to be, accurate, so we'll know what we're doing as far as, with the information we're getting.
And can you remind people too, just the phases we talked about on the show before, but it's been a while, just the phases of, we got, Omnis, the DEX aggregator, and then there's the staking portion of stuff before the strategies go live, the community portal type stuff. Can you go through the phases just for people again?
Yeah, sure. So we're building the basic fundamental tool, which is Omnis, which is the DEX aggregator, and on this next update, I think we're going to also going to have the staking of the Tetra token to earn the fees from Omnis, and as well as automations just immediately after there. Stu's almost done with all that, so those are going to be right behind each other, back to back. And then after that, then we'll open up the strategy Stratus, which is a strategy tool builder the toolbox that we'll have. That'll go into the private testing for us to start building strategies, and then once we're comfortable and confident that there's no issues on the programming side, we'll start releasing those strategies for the public to consume on Atlas, which is the hub or the front page, where you will see these strategies. You can connect your wallet, and you can choose to participate, and those are available.
Gotcha. Yeah, very cool. Again, if you all haven't heard of Tetra before, or Omnis or otherwise, you haven't been subscribed to my channel, because I've covered them extensively in the last few months with Neil and Stu, and and otherwise about what's available now and also what's to come. So lots of exciting stuff. One of the few projects on PulseChain I pay attention to, and yeah, it's definitely been 2024. There's some exciting stuff coming up. I've talked about, tweeted about maybe some new PulseX features and stuff coming up. We got Hedron V2 at some point, maybe Rocket Fork also from Alex, and then Tetra is definitely on the list of things that are things to be excited about for PulseChain.
Well, yeah, this is going to be a big year, really big year for DeFi. There's no doubt about it, and for PulseChain and just crypto in general. There are a lot of projects being built right now, from the things that that we have now. We're about to have, I guess, Power City's about to launch Earn really shortly. Barista just launched the liquid loans front end with the Bean token, and then as soon as like Power City and all get out with their stuff, I think Win-Win will launch. And then let's see what else is coming up right around the corner. Two Fox also, Fast Ideal and Yellow Cakes project. So yeah, there's a lot of things are coming down, and we as Tetra, being what we are as basically a builder of tools and services through what we're building, we get a lot of requests to, hey, can you help me do this, or can your service do that, or when can I integrate, and all these things. And it's been pretty constant that people really realize the need for automation, the tools that we're bringing, especially because how we do our tools are in a decentralized way, meaning we're not relying on third parties to gather the information from the blockchain. We take it direct from the blockchain itself. So in the LP pools on the dexes is where the numbers are coming from for your strategies and your automations to make decisions and stuff. So because of that, we have a lot of requests. And so what was just released, as far as verbally, we hadn't done a website, nothing just yet, but what we decided to do is put together a project called Tetra Labs. And basically what this is going to be a place that showcases how projects are utilizing the Tetra tools that we're building for their customers and their users. And it's going to be just a loose, not really a confederation, but just a loose group of projects, not even necessarily connected, who are using Tetra tools. And so it kind of puts us in a position, because Tetra is protocol agnostic. So we don't promote or anything, but we build the tools for people to use. And so what Tetra Labs is going to be a place where it'll showcase that, and it'll be a place for protocols to pick up and help others. And so I'm wearing the hat now. Tetra Labs is like managing that for Stu. Stu builds the tools. I'm help we're trying to do this in such a way where we can help these protocols and give them assistance. And because of that, it's kind of morphed into, over the last couple of weeks, filling a gap that we had in the market, not necessarily to sell anything, but to provide a service. And so I was asked by a couple of people to put together and help on a project, and it morphed into this thing that we're calling True DeFi. And it's going to be a service protocol, basically, to help DeFi projects come up with ideas, solutions, have marketing, help with maybe possibly seed round investing and stuff like that, to get their ideas from maybe conceptual or maybe just in minor development to full development, testing, auditing, marketing, and out the door for the consumer to use. And so TrueDefi.io is going to be basically under the umbrella of Tetra Labs, working as a facilitator, as well as probably having one of the first projects that Tetra Labs will have coming out the door, called P2X.
Yeah, P2X. I saw you did a video on it the other day, and I've been talking about it more too. And it's the hook there is like double your PulseChain, double your PLS sort of thing. And yeah, I'm not sure I'm still clear on how that works. Like, what kind of game are we playing here with P2X? You want to kind of run through that and be like, where does the pulse come from? Where's the ETH come from, Richard? That sort of question, all that.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. We talked about this before in streams. Like, what does yield? What kind of yields are there? There's inflationary yield and there's true yield, and that's basically two type of yield you have in DeFi, because either like Hex and Lycos and Hedron, all those are inflationary style systems that mint tokens, and then people rewarded but the value comes from people buying them, and that's with most all crypto, obviously. But true yield is repeating service fees like Tetra with Power City and their Watt token, and the PH ecosystem. People pay fees to utilize the systems and services that are available. Well, what true DeFi and what P2X is we've taken the concept of having true yield and marrying that to the idea of people want to play games and stuff. And so what P2X is, I don't know if you remember the Hourglass games that were popular on Tron and a few other blockchains in the past, but they were really popular and successful. There was millions of dollars that went through these Hourglass games over the years, and people like to play them. But they all have inherent problems because they are designed in such a way that the people who get in first, or the whales, take all the money, and the guys who come in last, who hear about it through, like you said, through popular social media things afterwards, they get stuck holding the bag and they don't make any money. And it's a terrible system for the people coming in because it's not proper for them, for everybody. It's not fully fair for people coming late, and it's not sustainable. And so what we've done here with P2X, we've designed a system that is it solves a lot of the problems that were inherent in the Hourglass market. So what you end up with was whales being manipulating either the price or the position. You have no caps, and you ended up having tokens and LP pools that were easily duplicated, and then therefore you have people get diluted in their values. And then you also have problems with just the unsustainability, because the yield from those systems comes from only user interactions. So you always have that fresh money coming in to constantly pay the people who are already in the system. And you're always relying on more and more people coming in to keep the game playing and sustainable. But that always goes to zero because people stop playing because there's no profitability. And we solve all those problems by changing up that whole understanding of how these games can be played, because there is definitely a market for it, and definitely has a need, but it's not something that it's not something that what you would call like as good as, let's say, a Tetra holding a Tetra token and staking it, or even having, like, say, a Watt token, because it's different. But people have to play these games, and so what we've decided to do is make a sustainable system that, first of all, doesn't even have a token. And that's the big difference right there. Is there's just no token to buy or sell, and there's no sacrifice either. So when people come in, they're coming in fresh, and there's no expectation, and no money invested. And so there's like no VC capital money or anything like that. I mean, it's a service game people can play if they choose. And so within the system, the money comes from 80% of it comes from participation of the people. And then what we've done is we've taken 14% of the money that comes in and reinvesting it in real yield bearing DeFi protocols that takes that yield, goes back into the system, and helps support and pay the PLS to the people who are mining the PLS with their miners, which is how it works. And so you have two revenue streams. One is participation. The other is real yield, DeFi yield coming from outside the system. And so that allows you to close the loop on your income, as well as making a sustainable project. Because now, even if the way it's designed, even if nobody participated, or the last guy in would eventually get his 2x, because we've capped also the amount of ROI you can have to a 2x.
And what is the way so how could this go wrong, I guess, for users? Like, how is it not a no-brainer, I guess? Is it getting in early or getting in later? Like, how can it go wrong
well, I mean, everybody, all right, so since we cap at 2x ROI per miner, that means then obviously the sooner you're in, the faster your ROI, because that's just mathematics, okay? And we can't help people FOMOing in and doing what they're doing. I mean, we encourage people to kind of spread out their interactions, but people are going to do what they want. And there's no doubt, like, the first couple of days are the fastest ROI. But what happens is you typically, in the way these things work, the ROI is extended out over time by adding a day, 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, 10 days, 15 days, or whatever. And that's just a function of participation levels. But we'll have a marketing budget that's associated with this, that's going to market this to try to keep the user interactions at a certain level. And as it continues, and eventually it does go down. The ROI time extends out further and further on a per day basis. The yield generation, though, helps kick in, and it kind of helps keep the ROI to a reasonable level. But the question you have to ask yourself is, if you want to participate in something like this, where else can you double your Pulse tokens? Even if it took you a year, double your Pulse tokens. Would that not be a good idea?
Is it a maximum double, where you said that the ROI can fluctuate, right?
No, the ROI is max at 2x, right? And how
Max or
soon you
minimum?
are max. You can only earn up to a 2x of your thing.
So you could earn like 10%, or you could earn
Now, well, all right. So the way these things work is the pool of people mining Pulse are all competing for the Pulse. Not really competing; they're all in the pool together, earning proportional shares. Well, what happens is when they hit a 2x, they're automatically exit or flush from the system through a public call function, and they're out. So they're no longer earning anything. And they got their tokens will sit in their miner until they retrieve them. And so that keeps people from diluting the system, having more and more people trying to pull from the Pulse. But you're welcome to pull there's no penalty to pull your Pulse out. It's your tokens, your keys. You pull them out as you see fit. It's just that if you want to at least break even, you must wait till your ROI is at a break even point. But once you're past that point, you can pull out at your initial investment plus one if you want to, or you can wait till you're 2x. And there's some other mechanics and games, a game theory in there. We have a bonus bag that to incentivize people to get out maybe a little bit earlier, because the sooner you get people out of the system, the shorter the ROI is for everybody else who remains. And so there's some game theory there and all that. So people can come and go as they choose. If they want to just go 1.2x, 1.3x and leave and come back again, or take in a run. I mean, it doesn't matter to us. We just provide the tools and services for people to use to use.
So what is the best incentivization? You said there's different bonuses and otherwise, but what is the healthy end goal look like for a protocol that does this, that doubles people's PLS over to that lasts a long time?
Okay, so this is where it has power that people don't realize. And so you more than likely you'll have a high interest. Interest will go down and user participation will drop, which is to be expected. So what happens is, though, the yield generation from the benevolent wallet, it continues to grow, and it gets bigger and bigger each day through user participation. The participation may wane over time; it still gets bigger proportionally, and so that means the amount of yield it generates gets bigger too. Meaning, as user participation drops over time, the amount it contributes gets bigger proportionally, thus allowing people who are in it to have a shorter ROI. So you'll have times when you have longer ROIs for 2x's and short ROIs, just because of the participation level and how much yield's coming in. So that's what you'll see a long-term success of this, because you'll see, as people participate over time, you'll see people come in and out, and their ROIs will end up with a yearly average. Once you get past, say, the first couple of weeks, you'll have a yearly average of a 2x on your Pulse, wherever that is, based upon the system and the overall health of the chain.
Yeah, and just for people who don't know what hourglass games are, is this like a pure version of that, or is it just portions of it act that way? Like, and what are the, I guess, what are the criticisms of those types of games too?
Well, like I said earlier, the criticism of these games are because, like, the criticisms are it's the people getting first make all the money. People have unlimited ROIs. The last guy in never gets paid, and the tokens are always subject to being manipulated or diluted and stuff like that, where the value is extracted and there's no liquidity left. With us, there's no token, so we don't have a token to sell. Therefore, there's nothing to lose. It's Pulse. Pulse has its value, whatever it is. And everything we're doing is in Pulse terms. There's no dollar value associated with any of the tokens. It's literally you 2x your number of your coins, not your value. You put in 10 Pulse, you'll get 20 Pulse out if you wait the whole time. It's that simple. And so those are the things we've done to try to keep it as within the contracts, parameters, as clean as possible, without having to rewrite the whole thing. And we've also done something where if a massive whale comes in and say wants to try to come in with 30 billion Pulse and play the game and then mess the whole system up, we've capped it too. So there's a daily cap on how much Pulse can into the system. So no one whale, one group of people can come in and wreck the system for everybody else, extending the ROI out for an unreasonable amount of time. So we've tried on everything we can to make it as easy for everybody to participate. And we also have a system where if, for instance, a whole bunch of people want to come in the first couple of weeks and they want to max out the cap, well, they can't all get in. And so we've done a random selection models where those who do get in are randomly selected from the pool of people waiting to enter into the lobby, so to speak, to enter into the mining pool. So now whales can come in all they want, but they will be randomly selected from the rest of the people trying to get in at the same time. And that's but the only fair way we come up with to make it a fair, equitable system for people to participate as much as they want.
Is there any longer pays better, bigger pays better type of stuff?
Nope.
As far as
nope, it's 2x. It's a 2x ROI, and the only way to get more than 2x is if the bonus bag. What happens with the bonus bag is once you hit it on 1.5 x, the UI will display and alert you, say, hey, you're at a 1.5. You can have a 5-day window to mine the bonus bag and then get out. That's your choice. If the bonus bag is at a level at that time, and if you're at the right time, you could potentially earn up more than a 2x, but that's unknown because nobody can predict that. That's the only way to earn more. But again, once you mine it, you're out. And so these are just game mechanics we've come up with to try to basically get people in and out of the system as quick as possible to keep the ROI as short as possible for the rest of the users.
I think the most interesting part to me is that it's not, again, there is no token. So there's this, a lot of the bad incentives come from having a token, right? Like a lot of times it's like, well,
exactly.
What can we do to make the token more valuable? How can we get more tokens to, these people or that people and all that stuff? So if there's no token, there's no, I hope this token value goes up. It's like you have Pulse, and again, assuming it's audited and there's no major bugs, you don't lose all your money through the contract itself, the fundamental aspect of talking to a smart contract and putting money into it. If that is clean, then if you're able to get ROI, by putting Pulse in for a certain time frame and then being able to move it freely in and out. Yeah, I think that's the most interesting part. Without the token, you have the pure being able to make more PLS instead of more dollars. You think in PLS terms, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Well, it makes the contract easier to write. Also, it doesn't matter what the price of Pulse is. If you have Pulse as $1 per Pulse is 10 zeros and a 1, it makes no difference to the contract. It's just Pulse. You're just taking tokens and doubling them and giving them out. And so there's a lot of long-term ways to think about and use tools like this if you think about compound interest and how compounding works. And once you get to a point where you have an average ROI time, say 60 days or whatever, or 100 days, whatever it is, and you know that if you put in some yield in it, it will double in 100 days. You do that every day. On day 100, you now can receive the double that yield. Where else can you do that? Nowhere. This is a very one-of-a-kind product, though it's similar to the old hourglass models. We've improved it in such a way that with backstopping and with a real yield coming in from the outside, you really have a powerful tool that can be used in conjunction with other DeFi protocols to increase your yield output in the ecosystem.
And where does it fit? Because I just recently posted this. I've been thinking about this stream for a while. I thought about it the other day. And I got to find that stream I did on tokenomics and value mechanics with Sloth, because we went over a ton of different things for what gives tokens value, like what are the different games to play. And you talked about true yield. I don't know if I covered true yield much in this one, but just in general, where does P2X fit into this? I know because it's kind of like, is there a disincentive to sell? Is there, because you're not, is it kind of like staking, but you're earning?
Well, it's mining. You're not really stake, well, kind of, sort of, but not really. Mining is really, we're calling it. You put your Pulse in it goes in a pool and you mine it out once you hit a 2x, you're out. I mean, there's really no, since there's no token, so there's no liquidity issues. So there's no pairs anywhere. It does have product market fit because there's a desire for people to play these games. They're really, really popular and have been popular and will continue to be popular. Having something that I think I titled my video, the degen hourglass meets real DeFi yield. And that was kind of the point. I've merged the two concepts together where they've never been merged before. So people like to gamble, like to speculate, like to play these games. Well, these games exist for a reason. They're popular for a reason because people, they love that. And so if we can basically keep them from getting completely wrecked, so even the guys who come in toward the end who can find out about it, they can still get their 2x too. It just may take them longer, but they'll still get it. And that's the whole point.
Gotcha.
So that's what makes it different than anything else. And so there's no, I mean, there's no way there's no selling of anything. It just Pulse. So it's a really, really clean and simple system that it is really a no brainer. Really, I mean, in my video I talk about using it in conjunction. So with compounding, your yields, not all of it, just a little bit of it. If people did that, I mean, just think about all the Tetra strategies I can make and design to use this. If you got yield coming from multiple different places, and you put a little bit here and a little bit there, and you put a little bit in P2X, and you've long-term minded, like a 1 year or 2 year plan for DeFi in DeFi investments, you can double your yield. Where else can you do that? Nowhere. Not successfully.
Free Speech is asking, is there a test net? Yeah. What is the release launch situation?
Okay. So we're contracts. The code's done. It's in private testing now. And once we get that finished up, we're going to go out to audit with it. And so there won't be a test net or anything public as of now. We'll have it's not a secret launch, nothing. We'll put, once we get, once it's in audit, we'll be starting our marketing push. There's a referral system. These things tend to go well with referral systems, and people can use those. And then you'll have other influencers, I'm sure, using them, talking about them in the very near future. And so we're probably anticipating sometime, assuming whenever the audit's done. I don't know when. I can't guarantee that because these guys are busy. So as soon as the audit's done, we'll do our final. Any tweaks on the code, we get an update, from the auditors, and then we'll immediately, unless it's something we got to change majorly, either get it re-audited or go ahead and release.
And just trying to find the website. Is it truedefi.io?
Mm-hmm. TRUDEFI.io.
My internet's being awesome right now.
Yeah.
We'll let it wait.
It's okay. It's all the only thing on a website at the moment is the my video, but there's also academy.truedefi.io, which is a little more informative. We're building it out as we speak.
Gotcha. Yeah, it'll load eventually. Yeah. So this is what made you get so interested in the project? Was it just something you hadn't saw before? Like, you're pretty busy with Tetris. So it must be,
well,
cool right? If you're taking time away from it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Stu's the code developer in Tetra. I'm just kind of the face, right? I mean, so we've been kind of doing private testing, so I have a little more time on my hands. And Benjamin 369, he came to me. He's on with Tetra. He's been with Tetra a long time too. And he goes, and he and Dan, you remember Daniel from Fairhacks, Toucan Rider? He did Fairhacks.
I don't think I ever met him.
Okay. Anyway, he developed Fairhacks, and it's been successful, on PulseChain and Ethereum as well. Anyway, he found the Hourglass game from T2X, which was on Tron, and he was wanted to launch on PulseChain, and he and Ben got together and they talked, and they came to me and asked me, well, what do you think? I said, well, this is obviously an Hourglass game, and so we went through and said, this is a way to fix it. I said, well, let me do some thinking, and I came around and we went back and forth as a group. We discussed things and came up with solutions that we talked about just now about how do you fix these problems and make it where it's not going to be just a go to zero model. And this is the solutions we came up with within the contract's capabilities. And so that morphed into True DeFi, which morphed into Tetra Labs working with True DeFi to get the word out. And now we have basically we're partnering up with some other groups to have a marketing arm and everything to help these other protocols, get some exposure and to be successful here on the blockchain.
Nice. Yeah, it's definitely. I'm curious, and how does it relate to Tetra? Are there strategies that you could do with Tetra for P2X?
Yeah. Oh, tons. Yeah. Like I said, I look at P2X as like a pit stop. Like you go there, you drop your yield in, and then how often you do it. If you do like a long-term, like a little bit of yield every day, or just a big chunk every now and then, as one stop among many among all the DeFi yield protocols. So you want to earn yield and grow your tokens in DeFi. It's just one of many tools you'll have at your disposal to do so. That's the whole point. So, like I said, that because it generates yield independently of the users, it technically can run, and it will, the way we got designed, run autonomously. So if nobody used it and everybody was paid out and sat abandoned for a period of time, it would still generate that yield and circle the yield back in a loop continually until people came in and took the yield when they deposited their Pulse. So
is there any cap? Like, can you come up with 1 billion Pulse?
The cap it's to be determined. I will say that in case we need to change it. I'm not going to say it just yet. That's one thing that might change it once we run our final test. We stress test it, but there's a cap though. It's way more than that, though, I'll tell you that.
And remind us too, where does the Pulse, because if you create a miner, however it's going to work for Pulse to get the 2x or however much ROI comes out to, is there a fee that's taken that circles back? Like, how does it? Where does the yield come? How does everyone get a 2x or less?
All right, so you put your Pulse in. 8% of all deposits go back into the mining pool to be mined. 14% of deposits go to the yield generation of the benevolent wallet. And so every day, those numbers go into each entity. And so if you think about the math, if you get 14% of deposit every day of participation into something earns yield, that gets pretty big over time, right? Because it's going to be able to earn more and more yield from those deposits. So its liquidity gets bigger. And then therefore that comes back into the system every day as well.
So just so I understand, there's benevolent wallet who is doing benevolent things, generating yield in whatever way they whatever see fit. And so is there a way for it to fail though? Like what if everyone leaves at once? Like, how are those scenarios handled?
Again, if everybody leaves, it still runs autonomously. The contract will cycle through itself with the yield from the benevolent wallet into both the bonus bag and the main pool. So that just does it. And then there'd be like one Pulse like put in there to kind of keep it going or something.
Is that the whole, like, the last person left gets the least amount of yield type of thing? Is that like the whole ideal from that?
Yeah, this solves it. See, the last person left, if he was left last and there's nothing, there would be no more the participation, he would still get his money from the benevolent wallet. So it would still be paying him. So, and it may take more time, but he would eventually get paid. So there's no go to zero model.
Time aspect. Okay, so talk about that for a minute. So let's say that there's another product. This becomes popular. A lot of people participate, and then there's another product. Like, oh, actually, this is this is the shiny object. Everyone, a lot of people move to that. Do you have to wait a certain period of time in order to get the payout? Because you're waiting on either, I guess, benevolent wallet to generate the yield or the cycling through the system somehow?
Yes, you have to wait. Your ROI will be a function of what comes in, the participation, and how much yield the benevolent wallet distributes based upon how big it is at the time, as well as how much it's putting in. So, and how big your stake is. If you have a very, very large set of miners, one miner or many miners, it may take a long time all to 2x. But if you're the only one playing, doesn't really matter. You're still going to 2x. Where else are you going to do that? It's just basically free money for you. You just sit there and wait, or get out of 1.2x or whatever you want to do. And so and also the bonus bag is getting filled too. So if you're by yourself in there and you're waiting on one, when you hit a 1.5, you can get all the bonus bag. It's all yours since you're by yourself. You say those are the ways we've designed it to, if one person or nobody's in there, it'll still pay. But if everybody pays and there's a lot of people, it just makes the benevolent wallet grow bigger faster. And therefore, because we put ceilings on it to keep whales from messing everything up. But that benevolent wallet will then basically have a lot more yield to put in the system. And so when its participation does wane, it can kind of act as a large number of players coming in and kind of keep the ROI to a reasonable level,
And what do we know about the benevolent wallet? Like, what can people, what is the pick? Because there's different projects with different benevolent wallets, and there's no right and wrong way of doing all these things. It's just in general, people tend to have this like, okay, I hear the 2x part, but also the yield generation, how long do I have to wait for all this stuff? What do we know about the benevolent wallet?
It will be automated by Tetra's tools and services just as soon as it's available. I can tell you that much for sure. And that's about it. I mean, it is literally acts as a benevolent wallet to bring the yield into the system. That's the sole purpose.
Gotcha. All right. That's what I was going to ask. Oh yeah, I was going to. Sorry, just to remind people, timeline too. You said that when do you think there'll be something to play with on P2X?
just as soon as the audit's done. I mean, it's going to audit shortly. We're private testing right now, and so just as we were just trying to hope to do it by the end of February, but it just took a little bit longer to do some of the testing and the UI stuff. We're trying to do a really good job, make it nice and clean for everybody, and the audit's going to take as long as it takes, and that's out of our control.
So 2 more weeks. It's 2 more weeks, everyone. By the way, just want to remind everyone, PulseChain Tour is going to be in Vegas very soon. If all goes well, I will be there as well. Some of your favorite people, maybe. Neil, you coming, man?
Nah, I got so much else I'm doing right now. We're hoping to get in the audit then and working on other things. So that's where the time is not good for me doing all these other things, plus with Tetra and Tetra Labs and everything else. I've been really busy lately. So
your face could be right here. You could be between Ben Armstrong and Donna Majali. You could be right there. Be there.
One day maybe, just not today. Not next month. That's look, I didn't do this to be popular or to talk on stage. I just do this to help people. So and talk about DeFi stuff. So
you accidentally got popular. That's better than the other way around. That's true.
Yeah, right.
I'm super excited for this. We've got quite a lineup, and I'll be there for at least a couple of days. And these PulseChain tours, even when they came locally too, that was super fun. And it's happening for the second year in a row. Like what other community literally does like world tours, national tours, driving around with buses and just renting out conference areas and just doing stuff like this? It's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Tries to kill the sadness. Neil, kill the sadness for us. A lot of people are sad right now. Why are they sad? Why are people? What is because I don't know. I imagine everyone every once in a while it's got to be like, okay, I love this ecosystem. I'm here. I've been waiting for 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is. And everything looks primed to pump. Everything looks great. There's people coming out just begging to talk about our ecosystem and how bullish they are. But the price is still not that X, whatever X you can think of in your mind. How do we kill the sadness, Neil?
Well, I think, first of all, we're above SAC price. So, take a win, right? We're above SAC. So let's not focus on, oh no, we're not under SAC anymore. We're above SAC. So
for one coin.
And so that's okay. That's not bad. So there's nothing wrong with that. So let's think about the positive. So we're above SAC. We know Richard's ready to prime and ready to go. We know he's willing to inject capital when he sees fit. Richard's also very smart, and he's going to time the market and make it the most beneficial for us. There's no doubt about it. Plus the legal stuff, notwithstanding, but that's really not as much of an issue as people make out to be. It's just SEC can fly kite for I care. I mean, who cares? But whatever. But it's good. The market's good. Now, we have tools now with Omnis. You can be swing trading. I did whole videos on this, making money even if it goes up and down. So why are you sitting there not earning more Pulse and PulseX? I mean, you can easily do that with the tools that exist on chain. You can use all the PH ecosystem to park money and earn interest. You can look at loans. You can get loan token and stake and earn some fees. Go to Barista, get Bean token. It's got extra yield there. There's stuff out there. If you're sitting and not making money, if you're just sitting idle, there's farms. I mean, incentive tokens, what, a couple bucks now? Is $2.99. If you were in farms right now with your tokens, you can be making incentive token at $2.99 a lick. I mean, come on. I mean, there's really no reason anybody to be really depressed. It's just going to take more and more capital to bring the price up. That's just the way the markets are. I mean, we got what, 20, so look at the price here. It is $57 million in the PulseX pool right now. And so, it takes a lot of money to push that price up. Just be patient. And that's all I can tell people, because we're going to bring tools to the market, and we're going to make it a lot easier here very shortly with Tetra and the automation services to help people be a lot more efficient with their capital. They can earn money while they're sleeping. And that's going to be the big game changer in DeFi and on PulseChain. And when other chains hear about it, maybe they'll bring the money over. So, because I know at True DeFi, we're going to work with SparkSwap. I'm going to link the SparkSwap bridge on our P2X website, so people can bridge over BSC and play the game if they want to. And we'll have swap features, with Omnis right there on the front. So we're doing everything we can to integrate and make it easy for people to participate in DeFi, to buy some Pulse. Come in, buy some Pulse, use the system, earn your yield. It's there. There's opportunity and tools there. There's really no reason anybody really be depressed. I mean, if you're not making money with the tools you have now, you're doing something wrong. I'm not quite sure what people are doing, but there's really no reason for you unless you just don't have time to use the tools that are available.
Well, I got a counter actually that may be interesting to go into. So perhaps a lot of people who maybe they're not advanced, or they literally just don't want to take the risk. They're like, I know these other protocols. I mean, besides, I guess, Inc, we know PulseX is PulseX, but in general, they're like, I'm afraid if I move money around, I'm going to start trading and I'm going to start losing. I don't want to trade. I literally just want to park it somewhere where it's going to earn yield, but the yield is just not, I'm not making thousands of dollars per day. Most people, even if they took all the coins they had, all the core coins, whatever, and they put them into something, they're just not going to make $1,000 a day at current prices. So
you can't make thousands of dollars a day unless you're a whale in any system, and it takes a lot of volume to do so. I mean, I don't want people think you can get $1,000 a day. I mean, you look, get $20 a day, even with a big bag. I mean,
this is the 10,000x ecosystem. We're gonna have to give. You got to give them some fish here. The 10,000x ecosystem. I mean,
you can do it one day, but not today. That's the reality. You just can't earn that kind of yield today because there's not enough money coming in and being moved around. You can look at the transaction volume. You do the math and see the transaction volume and see how much is going through, and say multiply that times like 0.5% or something. That's about all the yield's going to be eked out of the system. It's just not that much.
So looking at the lock protocols too, actually, this could be something too. So the top, we got validators, of course. I've talked about that a billion times. Liquid loans, we talked about that a lot. The bridge itself, fiat, again, there's different leverage games and stuff like that, depending on your risk profile and how advanced you are in crypto and all that stuff. Time pays me, ZKZX. What are the earning income on the farm, for example, if you got Pulse and PulseX? Yeah, I guess I'm trying to see what we can give people that's the most useful to be like, okay, I still can earn, and maybe maybe if you're earning tens of dollars per day, maybe that would turn into, if prices go up, hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars per day, even if you're not, whale. I know whale's the most common nomenclature, but I mean, shark, you got dolphins, you got people who have a lot of capital in the ecosystem. So without just waiting and being excited about new protocols, which we totally are, how are you making money in PulseChain today? I know you covered a couple of things, but just in general, your mindset of making money in PulseChain today as things currently are. How do you think about that? I
think about it as, where can my capital be treated best? In what way? Farms are a good example. The PulseX farms, or all the Inc farms, right? Inc's $3. It was 50 cents, right? If 3 or 4 months ago, if you'd have had all your Inc farms and you was earning 1 Inc a day or whatever you were getting, your daily Inc, right? And then you didn't sell them, you just held on to them. Now they're worth $3. So all the Inc you've had is what, 4x, 5x, if you'd earned that over time. That's all the PH ecosystem. You got all the LP pools that from the Fux pools. You could be earning Fux token, and doing that. You got SparkSwap. They have pools. Hocus Pocus Finance has a whole list of farms on their website that you can go through and tell you all about them, the APRs, what their emissions are, and everything. I mean, that one website tells you every farm there is. You can just go there. That's one-stop shop, really, to see what's available for farming. I mean, you get liquid loan, you get loan yield-bearing tokens you can purchase and invest in. They're really, really cheap right now, So all these things are there, and it depends on how much risk you want to take. And if you're not compounding, you're just sitting and holding. The best thing to do, if you just want to sit and hold and not do anything, is stick it on the farm. Like SparkSwap's got some. They got the vaults now that even auto compound it for you. But you don't even have to do anything. So all these, there's tools out there that are coming out every day. More stuff is being available to the average user. So, but you can only educate people so much. And these communities, I know, are struggle trying to get the word out that, hey, we have new tools, new ideas. Come use our stuff. Here they are. And so people just need to kind of just listen to the people talking about it. Say, this is the stuff available. You can use these tools to make money.
In the current state, the ecosystem too, of course, I had the chart a minute ago, and you can see that, we're going up and then kind of like a staircase and stuff. Mm-hmm. It's February. The halving is coming up in, a few weeks or so. What do you think in the next few, I mean, is it something that, without getting people too excited, would you be surprised if you didn't see any major moves or major news or just very cool things happening in this ecosystem for the next few weeks, up to the happening, after the happening? Where do you, and you mentioned you think Richard's, timing some things too. How do you think about, what he may be timing and the bullishness of this, trying to encapsulate the bullishness of the ecosystem based on even more? We can look at the data, we can look at the numbers, all the stuff locked up, all the ways to make money and so on. But price going up, how do you frame that for people at the current state?
Well, if the halving comes and then if you see a rally on the Bitcoin and Ethereum and they start shooting up, I'm not sure exactly how much that's going to come over immediately to PulseChain, because people will be chasing the green candles over there. So we'll be a lagging indicator, so to speak, from that money once it kind of caps out over there based upon the cycle and the news and ETFs and all the thing with doing Bitcoin. But Richard may end up using that to show people once that maybe that thing peaks out and hits its limit, he may start pumping PulseChain, showing, hey, there's green candles over here, bring your money over here and chase them over here. It's just faster and cheaper than Ethereum. And that'd be how I would play it, I think, in some way like that, because you don't want to compete head to head with Bitcoin and Ethereum just because it's way more economic mass over there. So it's kind of hard to compete with a small new chain. But once the Ethereum fees are skyrocketing and it costs you hundreds of dollars to make a trade, people say, wait a minute now, I don't want to do this anymore. Then they see PulseChain and there's your marketing tool. Hey, you want to pay $300 for a trade? You can come over here and pay 30 cents or 3 cents or whatever it is. Here's some money. Here's some green candles. Go chase them. There you go. And then now we have the influx of capital coming in the system. So that's kind of how I look at the news. I mean, it's going to be what's going to be as far as the news. We can't control the entire market, but we can react to the market properly. And Richard could, or whoever owns the wallets, to do that if he wanted to.
What do you think he meant by this decorrelated tweet? Is Ethereum? Yeah, I talked about that yesterday. I did a stream on it. Decorrelated versus uncorrelated versus. I mean, is there anything to read into this one word tweet being tagged Ethereum?
Yeah, because again, because he has access to that capital from the sacrifice, he can decorrelate, and we can move outside of Ethereum's movement, which is very true. There's not that much Ethereum on PulseChain. I don't think, but statistically, there's more DAI than anything as far as bridged over value, and the rest of it's very, very small. So even Ethereum moves up and down, it doesn't really affect a whole lot of the pricing because not a lot of pairs, which is done by design, obviously by Richard and his team. So it's up to us to think about how we want to use our money, and how do we bridge over ourselves? How do we enter the chain? So new users, are they going to use Coast to come in, and deposit money on Coast and come across that way? They're going to use Richard's bridge, or maybe like PulseLN or all these other tools that exist to get on chain. Or Binance through SparkSwap. All these are avenues, and these are just ways that. And this is the hardest part of all change, but this for us especially is like getting money in the chain and then getting it off again. And that's the biggest hurdle that we have to do in a very, very quick and seamless way without the slippage and all these other things. And but we're also new, very young chain, so it just takes time to get these things developed. And so that's kind of where we're at. And hopefully maybe Tetra will have some solutions in the future through our automation services, make it easier for everybody.
It certainly feels like we are I don't know how much more primed we can be. I look at the bridge. On the fundamental side, we have general influencers coming here. They've seen the light, so to speak. They're calling for, Hex doing all this amazing stuff and PulseChain in this ecosystem. I see, big people with big accounts talking about more every day. So we got a lot of new people on our side. We got, the active wallets and stuff, all the numbers of the ecosystem are going up in an upward trajectory from what we can tell. So the fundamentals look super good. The TA, I haven't heard anyone say the TA sucks for PulseChain or Hex. I've heard only the opposite in so many different ways. Mm-hmm. So what are we waiting on, Neil? Why?
Capital. It's a straight up capital deal. You have to bring money in to get the price go up. It's just that simple. There's no other way. There's no magic wand to make a wave. And Richard could probably tweet a bunch of stuff and maybe get people to kind of buy, but that's taking money that's kind of already in the system and moving around, so to speak. But you got to bridge money in to bring value. There's no doubt about it. That's the only way the system's going to get bigger and grow. If not, we'll just trade money. We're trading coins amongst ourselves. And, then whoever's the smartest trader wins, basically, in that game. So, but that's just it's a basic numbers game. And so, what can you do to bring capital? So you got to come up with good products and services on your chain for people to use. So we're doing that with P2X. And we're going to try to build these games out so people can participate and maybe come over from other chains. And once maybe these things are successful, other people build other stuff that's cool and neat. If we can get really good ROI on yield for farms and stuff, that's great. All those things are attractive to the retail user who doesn't really understand it, but they see, oh, there's money to be made. I'll go there. And I think Pulsar's coming out too, trying to do something with Titan X and try to come over here and bring some of that money back. So there's just people working on it. It's going to take a little time to get the money back over here to really pump the chains of overall TVL.
Is it just looking at, because we see a lot of money coming from Ethereum onto PulseChain through the bridge. You look at on Twitter, you see Hex, you see a ton of alerts just every day. I mean, some going back the other way, but there's a lot just over and over and over for weeks now. So the capital, you think a lot of it just hasn't been deployed yet, or do you think it's just I guess what is the thing, if you saw it, you'd be like, whoa, okay, this is like, you need to see like a multi-million-dollar come across the bridge before the fees are turned back on type of thing? Like what do we need to see to be like, okay, this is up?
I would want to see a steady increase of flow coming in at a going up slowly. What gets more and more and more every day, every week, or whatever. When you start seeing more and more money coming in, not just one chunk at a time, but a good, steady, healthy flow, which is greater than what's going out, then you got something fixing to happen, right? Because people are coming in, organically through the system, and you have whales and stuff coming in with big chunks every now and then. But as long as people aren't exiting out more than coming in, you will have a good system. And just like everything else, 2 years is a long time to wait. And 2 years with 6 months, it's a long time to get your money back if you were an early sacrificer. If you were a big sacrificer, we look at Rack and Michelle, what he did, he dumped the price, right? When he whoever him himself, but his group he was in, the guys won the money out. Okay, it's fine, that's fair. But at the end of the day, Richard has always said it's two groups make money in crypto: founders and long-term holders. Period. If you hold a long time, you will get your value out. And what that time is, we don't know. And so we also must be patient because we haven't even started the bull run yet. I mean, we're just now getting started. And it's not, Bitcoin's up with 50,000, I think. 51,000 right now. That's good, but it's still not its all-time high. And there's even more money behind it with ETFs and everything. I mean, Grayscale's, I think it flipped its ratio already, if I'm not mistaken. It's no longer in a deficit. So it's time. So, I hate to say this, but the money printer's going to be turned on too. That'll really help, accelerate, the market and the sentiment. But until then, we're going to do what we can.
Yeah, it's just interesting to think about the capital, the people who are already here in crypto, the money we have in now, and then the money that can come in from other ecosystems, and then the money that hasn't even entered crypto yet, and which may come in, from retail and otherwise, from people saying, "Hey, money printer go burr. Obviously, this is a risk on time. I'm gonna go it's time to go make some money. Time to deploy some capital type of thing." And yeah, you mentioned also, I heard Sami talk about a lot the Bitcoin. I think, was it altcoins rally after Bitcoin hits all-time high, something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Ballpark. Yeah. So maybe that's another key thing to have no expectations about.
Well, yeah, and I guess it also depends on what do you want to do with with your money, right? If you're here to get a 10x and leave, and that's your goal and that's your plan, well then that you'll do that eventually. If you're 100x and leave, go ahead. But here's the question that people have to ask themselves: we're all here to make money. Don't get me wrong, but what is better to get a 10,000x or 1,000x and leave, and then never come back or wait and come back in, say 2 years, 3 years later, and then eat up all that? You can eat a whole bunch of inflation cost with your value, or extract what you need to live well and maybe give yourself a Ferrari or whatever, but leave the rest in to work and earn yield over time. So in the bear, you're still making money. Which is a better way? That's the question you have to ask yourself, and address that in your own mind, and how you want to use the tools that are going to be available on the blockchain. Because if you have a trader's mentality, you want to get in, sell the top, and get out. Well, A, nobody can already time the top perfectly, and B, you're going to have to come back in if you want to make more money in the future, because you're not going to make it in traditional finance. What you're going to do? Just going to put your stick in a CD and earn 3.8% or wherever they are now, 5% if you're lucky. Where you're earning 50% APR in a farm. I mean, the math says the smart money stays where it's at. Just extract what you need, live well for 3 or 4 years, and you're earning yield during the whole time you're in a bear. You average out way better. And when the next bull hits, you're already here. You're already poised. You can deploy the capital you've earned during the bear, accumulate more, and then you're ready to now have even more to sell on the next bull. It's just the way you got to think about it. I mean, you got to think about diversification of your assets as well as diversification of yield generation in the system, and think about it and use the tools that are available. And eventually, maybe, if you want to leave the chain, go somewhere else. That's your prerogative. But I mean, it's kind of silly to go in places that play in places that are way more expensive, like Ethereum and stuff, So and we have a really, really good innovation on this chain. Really, a whole bunch of people, good community, guys are building really cool stuff. They're really, really smart, and they know what they're doing, and they built the things out for us to use. So I think we should use them.
Do you think it happens this year? Do you think, just based on price appreciation alone, I mean, forget yield, forget everything else, do you think there'll be millionaires minted in PulseChain this year?
Maybe by the end of the year, it'd be close. It depends on the election cycle. There's a lot of things happening in the world, so it's kind of hard to know how the markets are going to react to some of the things that are going to happen. But if we have a positive election outcome in the U.S., I think it will cause the money printers to go burr, because another bunch will get in there and spend money. It's politics, But yeah. But in 2025, though, hopefully, at least according to all the models, it should be a pretty good year for us as well. So it's not just this year, it's next. So this is a run up, right, for us. This is our time to get ready to run up. Just, as we mature with our protocols and stuff, I think you'll see some neat stuff. I mean, we got like NFT projects coming out with, like, I think Red Squirrel's got an NFT project that actually earns yield. I mean, come on. You can earn yield in NFTs. Why not? That's a whole other market.
Yeah. I was going to ask you about a question about that in a minute, though. But on this, I just wanted to tie the button too on. So perhaps money printer go burr on the economic side closer to 2025. But if Bitcoin hits all-time highs this year, do you think it'll be like that run up, all-time highs, maybe, green light for alts, all that stuff, halvening, post-halvening, or whenever?
Saying it'd be a cycle, just like every other cycle, but the cycles won't repeat themselves. That's what they're cycles. They're not necessarily knowing when they're going to start, but once they start, people's emotional reactions are the same. People are people. They chase green candles. They do dumb things. They chase, a next 100x altcoin, meme coin. Let's do this thing. It happens. They get wrecked, and the cycle continues. I mean, it's just the nature of the game. But if you think about it, though, how many meme coins and how many games do you remember in the past cycle that stayed alive and really made people happy and loving the community? I mean, other than the really big ones that just have a ton of people that are stuck in their money, you don't remember them. All those reflection games and all that junk that was going on, Safe Moon and all that mess. I mean, it's, of course, people try to resurrect them and repackage them, but still, they don't last. What does last? Things that are tools that people earn money, like Canva, Aave, GMX. So we have our forks, right?
6.
Yeah, right. So, but see, think about it. You have to reinvent the wheel and come up with another package, right? The old saying, you put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig, right? I mean, you can do this all you want. You put a different coat of paint on it, it's still the same thing. But things
people will invest in that pig. They will invest.
I know they do.
They will turn their portfolio to that pig. They will start building upon that pig. They will put a dress on that pig.
Exactly. But
making money.
The people, though, who stay in the system, use the tools, use Canva, Aave, Curve, GMX, which we have our forks with Buck did with the PH system, and all the things we're building, Liquid Loans of Power City, and all those things will stand the test of time because they're tools. And yes, you'll have your 100 up, 10,000 next meme coins will come and go, but they're just going to come and go. Where do people want to put their money afterwards? If they keep chasing it, they're going to eventually get caught and lose their money. Eventually, some of those people are going to realize, hey, if I take some of my profits and put them in these systems or use Tetra automations to earn yield, I can at least capture some of my value and not lose it on the next meme coin and just use part of my value. And so when we designed P2X, we thought about this too, because we want people to have fun and not get wrecked. And maybe if they'll just do some thinking, maybe, just maybe, they can kind of use it as part of their portfolio in a way to make money over time and not just chase the next shiny object.
The guy tweeted, again, he tweeted decorrelated question mark. Do you read into that being this thing will be decorrelated in a bullish narrative? Is that what we're supposed to get from it?
Exactly. No, I don't know if you remember back in his early videos, he talked about this.
I'm sort of an RH historian in a way, so I may remember this. Yeah, what did he talk about?
Hart's Law. Remember the Hart's Law thing? He talked about bond liquidity, right? And decorrelation, why Hex had a lot of USDC that was backing it, and less Ethereum. That was his whole, that design made Hex really, really valuable because when Ethereum dipped, Hex could still moved up, right? So you remember how that worked early on. Well, Rich is the same person. He understands that you can't tie Ethereum bonding in value to PulseChain. Hence the reason DAI is the main thing, not Ethereum. So that makes a big difference because we really need to move independently of these other things. So we don't really need a lot of those tokens over here to be bonded to our tokens. We need other things of better value, like stable coins and stuff, which is where it's all at. Yeah, it's me. I mean, you have lots of stable coins over here. And especially our algorithmics, like with Liquid Loans and Power City and Coast and stuff, things are easily backed by fiat. That's a much superior place to be than speculative assets that go up and down in value, bond liquidity too. And that's what would you? Richard's thinking, he's paying 40 chess with all this. What he's doing.
What would you? What could we look for to see more decorrelation from what we have today? Like what moves? Either the OA can make, or you just see happening in the ecosystem where you'd be like, oh, we are moving towards like full decorrelation. Like, full decorrelation doesn't make a lot of sense, but like we're becoming more decorrelated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. As Richard injects capital and buys up his assets he likes, that decorrelates us further because there's more value associated tied to those assets. So he brings a bunch of DAI in across a bridge, boom, there you go. Right. And that's just how you do it. And eventually, if we get some whales who want to earn extra money, and they want to stay safe, they take our stable coins like USDL and Coast and PXDC, and they go over to Ethereum and bond them with the stable coins over there. So now you have two chains with stables that go back and forth. And eventually we're going to have a very, very seamless interoperability solution through whoever's going to do it to allow us to do cross-chain swaps and everything, and which we'll be able to automate with Tetra. That's really going to make this chain pop. And I think that's going to be the silver bullet that really makes us really, really grow, is that type of technology once it's available. And so that's just something to hope for in the future.
So you're thinking stablecoins paired with the blue chips is the big move for decorrelation?
Stablecoins paired with stablecoins. You have a whole bunch of, say, USDL paired with DAI and on Ethereum, see? So people can be on Ethereum and trading the tokens. You see, so this money the value is locked a multi-chains. It gives more value on our chain, because it's bonded liquidity. If someone wants to take USDL and Ethereum on Ethereum and do it, great. It's even better. You see.
So that's kind of how you look at PulseX. Just to give people an example too. So we're going to look at PulseX and farms. What screams more decorrelation? What would you expect to see here?
Well, when you look at if you look at the DAI pulse pair, it's got the highest APR, right? And the most liquidity. There's your decorrelation factor. There's your layer one tied to a stable coin. If that was Ethereum, it would do that because Ethereum is up and down, because Bitcoin's up and down. But this alone, right here, that one pair shows you that that's a massive decorrelation. That's 50%. Well, I'll say 50%. That's a chunk of the liquidity. But you get the Hex Pulse also, which is a lot more liquidity. and Hex is mostly tied to USDC, also on Ethereum. So you got it's a little more it's still correlated to a point because of Ethereum bonding too, and the pairs over there, but it's not as much as obviously Pulse. So they all kind of help each other, but that move alone, what Richard did with that one LP pair it tells me all I need to know. That I don't have to worry about what Ethereum does because Pulse can act independently. All Richard has to do, or the OA, whoever, has to inject capital and bring more in and buy more Pulse. The price goes up.
There's over probably $150 million of liquidity or more, maybe close to 200 right here, and there's only 15 million of WETH tied to Pulse.
Exactly.
Very interesting.
Because I mean, it's just a lesser play if you know what you're doing. You would want that. You don't want. I mean, people can do it themselves, the individuals, but as far as the real value is in the DAI. Because again, Ethereum is just tied to Bitcoin, and it's all bonded with that with Hart's law. So this having stable coins as your main asset value asset on the other side of the pair is far superior than anything else, because in your asset is real value backing it, not just speculative value. So you think about Pulse and PulseX on that pair alone. If you look at it, it's got a lot of liquidity, doesn't it? But its APR is lower. Reason being is because they're locked together, and PulseX really only goes up because of DAI Pulse, right? That's where the value is. Now you get people pulling it around, dumping PulseX or Pulse and all, but in the day they're bonded like hip to hip, so to speak. So they're always going to move in tandem. Though they may ratio it differently, they're still going to move in tandem. So you pump a bunch of Pulse, it's going to pull up PulseX. Unless a whole bunch of people dump a bunch of PulseX, Pulse is still going to stay pretty good in value because of the DAI.
So we're looking for a $10 million of DAI being bridged in. Is that going to kick us off?
It'd be nice. It'd be a big green candle, right? So it'd probably bump us up, the 50-75% where we are now. It's just a nice good pump. That's what. But again, you need the money to come across, and that's what we need, either through the Bridges Bridge or either the Coast or wherever, or BSC and SparkSwap Bridge, whatever bridge that people are going to use. We got to get the money to come in. And that's a solution for our problems with value right now. So
we'll wrap up come back to, because you mentioned NFTs for a minute, and so ERC's 404, the fractionalized stuff. Have you got much into them? What do you think of the ERC 404?
Oh, man, it's funny. Funny you should ask, because we got asked by somebody to come by and take a look at the project, and they need some help, and we just said, okay, let's look at them. I know red stuff I think is fractionalized, not mistaken, with the squirrels, but I know there's a use case for them. I think artists are going to benefit a lot from the 404 technology. I know there's people working on ways to try to make it a better, more fair system. And for me, though, personally, I look at NFTs as a tool. The art is, to me, a secondary. Not that I'm just kind of artist. It's just because I'm more DeFi minded and looking at the possibility of using these tools. I know I could take a Tetra strategy and stick it inside a 404 NFT. It earns yield, and I could fractionalize ownership, and people could take a part of that if they wanted to, and own part of it, and thus receive part of the yield. And that's kind of how I'm looking at this type of technology. Before it was just you just own one NFT, you get all the yield, but now you can own, part of an NFT that earns yield, and then you get part of that yield. And that's how I see using those tools, and that's how I see the ERC 404 being used, at least by me, and how I would design stuff around it.
Yeah, I like the concept of 404 because they're the furthest thing away from Monkey JPEGs. I was never interested in NFTs like in the first place. So, like they didn't do like anything, what I think is interesting at least. And again, no, nothing against NFTs. No, anyone likes NFTs, whatever. But like I never thought they were that interesting, just the picture part. But the yield bearing ones, like like Watsa, for example, I wonder if that'll be a fractionalized one coming up. Like the whole collateralization we've talked about from time to time. I wonder in Hedron V2, if not on the native platform, a different platform. I wonder if they'll become the 404s, or is it just too experimental right now? I'm not sure how Alex is thinking about it yet. I'd love to hear Alex has to say on it, of course, too.
There's hard. There's probably ways to do some things we just haven't figured out yet that there still are going to be. They're still being worked on right now. So I think it's just so new. We haven't really gotten into the code and the contract and really explored its full capabilities. And that's kind of where we're at right now. Some smart guys have already done that, but who are working on it right now. But I just don't know enough about it other than what it can do. But I would love to be able to take these tools though and use them for good DeFi strategies in the future. So I'm just waiting for the people who know more about it to go into code and really give us the full list of what the capabilities are. Once I have that, then I can kind of come up with some kind of ideas to utilize them. Whether it's maybe if you can do an HSI right for a hex stake, so to speak, and why couldn't you do that with a 404 contract somehow? Right now,
tradable, like a really tradable hex stake.
Well, what about this? Here's a scenario. All right, I get a bunch of people. We pull our resources together. We make this big hex stake. Right, it's going to say I want a 30 or 60-day thing, or we use something like Stakehouse from MCR guys or whatever. We put it in that 404 NFT. Now we can all own it and fractionalize it and sell the yield off when it comes. Right, or stuff like that. Those type of methods. Those are the ideas I'm thinking about. Stuff like that. Things that that earn interest and yield over time. Then people can take their yield as it comes daily, or just wait and take their ownership of it and buy and sell their ownership, speculatively. So you think about. I mean, I know that they kind of did this with the perpetuals with Maxi and stuff, but this is a little different because it's really more the one stake's there, and you sell your share or your ownership of the stake, and then based upon the price, your share is worth more one day than another because the price is moved up or down. You see, people could do that, play games like that too. That's how I'm thinking about stuff like that. But hey, it's not somebody who's smart. Get out there and do that. There's an idea.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about that the other day as far as there's so many things you could come up with, like so many ideas for new PulseChain products or tokens or things without tokens, whatever, just based on, is there a successful fork on Ethereum that hasn't been made on PulseChain yet? Or is there a successful fork of something on PulseChain from Ethereum or any successful product that has a token that is tied up with whales right now that you could fractionalize and you could break into and pull it, right? Just make a pulling product. It's like 2 fucks, right? So, pulled fuck stuff like that. So there's like 50 different ideas you can come up from that. Which ones are more interesting? Which ones have product market fit? Which ones, will be, foundational and have appeal to people? That's a different question, but there's so much green pasture on PulseChain even right now. But I think,
I can't keep it, man. It's every day. I get people ask me questions, call them, hey, can you help me with this? What about that? Stu's the same way. We're like, it's just there is a need. Hence the reason True DeFi came about. We're like, we need organizers so we can help people. And we'll have the tools and resources here shortly to be able to help people, build their projects out if they're good ideas. So that's what we'll be here as a service provider for that.
But yeah, the yield bearing ones like the Wattas, tradable, fractionalized, ERC-404 stuff. So those are from especially from well-known people and founders and stuff like that too. I mean, nothing against new people coming in with innovative ideas. It's just when you have I've said it before, anything that Maximus guys do, I'm in. Like you guys you've been doing awesome stuff forever. I like betting on founders. I like betting on Alex Mahedron, and we'll see how Tetra turns out. But Stu may make the list of anything I'm in products type stuff too. But I think they're way more interesting. And I hope we're able to do it in a way that doesn't lose people money and doesn't create these like crazy fads where it's a zero-sum game and stuff like that. I hope we have great products. But this is me less about me changing my mind about NFTs, but more about NFTs expanding and like changing and expand their utility from art to more interesting like mechanics. I think that's the cool part and why I've been talking about it more often. Mm-hmm. That's Neil. That's all I can think of, man. I feel like people got their money worth today. I believe so.
Yeah, it's a lot of information, but yeah, it's been. So we've been busy doing our things for the last several weeks now. Just there's so much need out there, and that's kind of what we found for us. Is like, well, everybody it needs help. There's a lot of people with really good ideas and direction. Sometimes just need somebody to organize. the funding, marketing, and all the things. And there's enough. We know that as we've built stuff with Tetra and the people we associate with on a technical and dev level, we have really good connections, and we want to put that to good use. And so as we build our own stuff and build our own features and things that Tetra and Tetra Labs can offer, True DeFi and our stuff we're going to build and the stuff that service we're going to provide, hopefully will help, expand the profitability and I guess the desire, or I guess the draw to the chain, the things we're going to bring to PulseChain. So maybe as we build things out over time, more and more people realize, hey, this is a cool place to go because you can earn good money on PulseChain, and it's because it's even inexpensive to transact, it costs all this money like Ethereum. And that's the goal. And so if we can bring competitive edge with quality products and services, we should do well in the future.
Cheaper, faster, more earlier network, pulsechain.com. I like it, man.
With automation tools.
With automation tools. Any day now. When? Don't ask when. Any day now. Any day now.
Yes, shortly. Very shortly.
Shortly. 2 more weeks. That's what I heard. Neil, when can where can people find out more about your stuff, your products, your new ventures, all that good stuff?
Okay, so I don't think Tetra Labs has a website yet. At least do it and give me the URL or anything, but it's in the works. But Tetra's Tetra.win is the website for Tetra. You can get to Omnis there, or go to omnis.tetra.run if you want to do any limit orders or 5v1 swaps, and all the tools available there. Soon to be upgraded to the compound limit orders here very shortly. And then TrueDeFi.io, you can go there to learn about P2X and the other stuff that TrueDeFi is working on at academy.truedefi.io. And then I'm on YouTube at Neil for T-shirts on YouTube. Just look me up. And I guess you could see I'm on Telegram at like Work for Crypto or Deal for Crypto. Work for Crypto. I don't remember. He's
either working for crypto, he's working for T-shares, he's doing something.
All kinds of stuff. Whatever I am on Telegram, but it's okay. I get confused. It's a lot to keep up with, but we're doing good though. We're all building. Everybody's working hard. We want to bring good. Like I said, I know Stu has been really pushing out some production on behind the scenes of Tetra. It's going to come to fruition very shortly. So yeah, we're all excited and just ready to ride the wave up.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's why I like getting in these discussions around what's going on. Why not so sad? Why sad? Why bigger picture? That type of stuff. And always appreciate your nuance, man. It's always good to go through these things.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. And we learned a lot. So yeah, this is good. I mean, I've been crunching these numbers for the last couple of weeks pretty hard lately. So we've been trying to make some decisions to find our next direction to go. So yeah, the future's exciting. I'm excited for the future. I'm with the rest of y'all. I'm really hopeful.
It's this ecosystem is primed. I think the question that may trigger the nerves every once in a while is when. I've been waiting long enough. When? But then if you just take a step back, look at the ecosystem, when it's ready. Let's go with that. When it's ready. Everyone, that's all we got for you today. Scivive and 5555. We are out.